8 a.m. right on the button. What's this? Still got it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's been a while since you've been up here, right? I guess maybe before I went to Canada, did I do 2 or 3 sizing streams? Because I had a whole bunch of sizing to do before I left for a few weeks. That paper has, of course, all been used up. The staff who works here, they've been doing their own sizing in the intervening time. And I've got more jobs waiting. Kubota-san wants paper for Wednesday, and Kawai-san wants paper for Monday. He wants it Monday. He wants to get started, which means we have to ship it Sunday. So I can't do it Sunday. So it means I've got to do it today or earlier. I could postpone it, do another stream now and do the sizing tonight. It's Saturday night. I really, really, really don't want to be doing streaming, doing sizing. So here it is. It is a sizing stream today. I know the size is already made. I know Ray-chan made some the other day and it's still left over. So I won't be cooking this morning. I will be just plopping the size into the bucket. In fact, let's do that first. The brush is, it's left from last time. She must have washed it quite nicely. It's hard. We don't wash it so that it's totally soft. It's still hard, but it's not like glue rock hard. If they didn't wash it at all, the brush would become unusable the next time. So they rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. And because this batch of size today, because it's a leftover from a few days ago, she must have made 4 liters, used a bunch of it, kept some aside. But some of this liquid in here now has been in here before, has been dipped, for brushing, and it was leftover, so she put it back in the bucket into the fridge. So there are paper fibers in here. So I'm going to filter it. I don't know if you can see them. I'm not quite sure. You can see maybe bits and pieces of stuff floating in the water. Nothing dangerous, but it'd be better to get them out of here. So let's just filter it. Yeah, there they are. They're all coming out now. I want to see a little bit that didn't get melted yet. I put this in here about half an hour ago. Still a little bit not melted. Now, the other thing about today's job, there's 2 liters there. And for the amount of paper that I'm going to be doing this morning, I don't need 2 liters, but I need maybe 1.5 liters. So to do a 1.5 liter job, if I only have 2 liters in the bucket, by the time we get to the end of the work, it's getting pretty low in the bucket, and it's difficult to dip the brush. So to do a job that needs 1.5 liters, I'd like to have whatever, 3 liters in there, but I don't have that this morning. So we may have fun. By the time we're getting to the end of the sizing this morning, that's getting low. I may have to play some games with tipping up the bucket, to dip in. We'll see how it goes. Because this is already leftover size, I want to use it and toss the leftover part. if I kept this 2 liters, mixed another 2 liters, we would then be mixing it together and I would have to toss everything. So I really would like to use up as much of this as possible. The old toilet trick to save water, put a brick in it. Whatever, it won't be a brick. We'll see when we get to it. We'll tip this thing up sideways so that the size all runs to one area. Okay, we are making paper for the Kyoto Journey series. Both these next 2 jobs, Kawai-san on Monday and Kubota-san on Wednesday. They are printing from the Kyoto Journey series. Kawai-san is doing a back number, the print that's called Guardians in the Rain, and Kubota-san is doing the new one, the one that nobody's seen yet, the April print from the Kyoto Journey series. It's a very quiet little scene. They're all quiet little scenes. This is Jed. Whatever, we won't see the print today, we will just see the paper today. And we'll be sending him, I think, 120 copies. So, point being, what I've got here today, the large sheet of paper, sheets of paper are about yay big, and we get 18 prints out of them. And normally what I do is I cut it in half and we size it here. You've seen me, the sheets that are perhaps almost as big as the table here. But because I'm low on the quantity of size here, it's going to be difficult to get the brush dipped. So instead of cutting the paper in half today to get 9 prints and 9 prints, I've cut it in 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. As you'll see in a minute when I bring it out. And each strip will make 6 prints. And that means I can use a narrower brush, and it's going to be much easier to dip when it gets down to the bottom of the bucket here. So 11 sheets of paper cut in thirds. We have 33 sheets that we will be sizing this morning. 33 strips. Oh, show and tell. A dynamite. I got to stop talking and get sizing. Do we have time for a show and tell? It's dynamite. And it's so lucky. It's an auction that I saw and then missed. It was late one night coming up, and I just missed it. I went to bed and missed it. And in the morning I thought, oh, that's it. Somebody else will have grabbed that thing. Nobody else bid on it. Came around again 3 days later. That's how these Yahoo auctions work. If nobody bids, they just leave it up there. It comes around again. I missed it again the second time. Dave, you idiot. Third time, got it. Okay, 33 long, thin strips. They just barely fit on my board here. The other thing about that third time, what happens, people that put stuff on Yahoo auctions, if it goes around once, they're thinking, gee, maybe it's priced a bit too high or nobody's interested in this or whatever. He dropped the price down, 2,000 yen. And I didn't not bid because I thought it was too expensive. I thought it was a deal at the original price. But because nobody bought it, he dropped the price 2,000 yen, put it up again. I missed it the second time, and he dropped the price again, 2,000 yen. Not because I thought it was too expensive. And the third time, I was there, I was awake, and I was ready. And I thought, nobody's bidding on this. Should I wait again and see if he drops it again? And I thought, no, somebody else is going to grab this thing. So I put my bid in the third time. It's a beautiful, beautiful, rare little book. We'll look at it later on. Anyway, if I don't get busy working, we're not going to have time to look at it. So let's get going. Okay, everything's been heating up here for the past couple of hours. I came up here at 6 o'clock, set my alarm, came up at 6. The table is warm, the size was warm, the paper is warm, everything's warm. Let's get going. So the brush has softened up now very nicely. Do I have enough size here for 33 sheets? Who knows? I am now warmed up. Let's go. How's the temperature in there this morning? It is, what is it, 12? 12 and 50. It's dry and chilly. But that's about right. Spring morning, it's okay. But I definitely needed to get the table warm. You can't do sizing with the paper at that temperature. Let's roll. Okay, this is fairly thick paper. It's cut from the kind of sheets we call takenaga. That's a size. And these are thick sheets of paper. And they're also long. We got to go all the way non-stop right to the end. What secrets did I reveal in the last 10 minutes? Somebody's asking. We have neighborhood news. The restaurant across the street, you know, the one that they're doing construction on. We saw the red awning coming down the other day. Red is not going to be the color of the new restaurant. It's going to be noir. It's going to be black. And I think the lighting is going to be moody. It's going to be an Italian bistro slash restaurant. And the people came in yesterday. They're very, very polite people, a young couple. And they came in to introduce themselves, saying that they would be opening later this month, and how are we doing, and hello, and they hope they won't be of any bother to us, and all that kind of stuff. They brought a little present of some snacks, just like nice neighbors are supposed to do. So far, so good. It looks good. Very, very, very young couple. There's no way they can be sponsoring this on their own. They must have got some backing. They have an Instagram, and they have been in another location. They are moving here from somewhere else. I have a link to their Instagram. Oops, I thought I had a link to their Instagram. Oops, no, that's not it. Post a link to something else by mistake. Oh, someone's got it. Someone's got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I see on their Insta there some lunch menus, but I don't see the dinner menu. Someone says, give them 6 weeks. I don't know. They have backing. Clearly they have backing, so we'll see. And this isn't their first venture. As I said, they're moving here from somewhere else. So they are an up and running business. Someone says Sumo starts today. Doesn't it start tomorrow? Don't they start on Sundays? Am I off the wall on that? I thought they ran Sunday to Sunday, 2 weeks. Am I wrong? Always on Sundays. Yeah, today's a Saturday here in Tokyo. Someone says it's the opening ceremony today. You mean a ceremony before the bouts and stuff start? Okay, I haven't ever been to one of those, so. The first matches are tomorrow. Okay, fair enough. This is in where? Osaka? Fukuoka? Remind me, it's not here in Tokyo. So that restaurant, somebody's talking about a lot of horns and stuff, and I wonder, maybe, I haven't seen the dinner menu yet, maybe they are doing a game. It's possible. This is sort of a little bit of a new thing here in Japan. all over the place. I think it's not just Japan. They're having trouble with urban areas like deer and boar and stuff like that coming out of the mountains into urban areas. And there's a move that's been coming bit by bit by bit by bit here in Japan to use some of that stuff, to use some of that meat. Now, there are not an awful lot of hunters here in Japan, as in like people with guns, but I've seen stories about this in the media quite a bit recently, trying to promote the use of deer meat and stuff like this. And maybe, this is just a wild guess, maybe these guys are on that. I don't know. We will find out. Jacques, the books are, we're going to see the books in a few minutes when we go up to hang the paper. They're in the next room. We're going to trip over them in a few minutes. There's a background story here, Jacques. Jacques knows. I wasn't sure we should tell that story publicly. It's okay, I guess. Jacques, I think it's going to work out there. 5.1 kilograms for each book, and there are 16 in the set. And the maximum per package is 30 kilograms. So we can't put 6 in one box. Max we can put in one box is 5. But there are 16 in the set, so there's no way to get it into 3 boxes. It's got to go in 4 boxes. So we're thinking 4 volumes, 4 boxes, and that would make it 20.5 kilograms per each box. If people can figure out what we're talking about here. Okay, tell you what, let's do this. I have, as I said, I have a really, really wonderful show and tell here today, but it's one that really deserves good concentration. If it turns out that we've only got like 5 minutes or something at the end of the stream, there's an optional show and tell. There's a set of 16 books, encyclopedias, in the next room, which would be an interesting thing to show, and we could maybe show some of that too. So let's keep our options open here. Is anybody counting? We had 33, we had 11, I don't know. Actually, I think we're doing okay on the time here. I think we're doing very well. Can't be 27 yet. No way. No. We're around 15 or 16. The story about the thing for Jacques-san in Holland, I got an email or a phone call, I can't remember what it was, maybe it was a phone call first, from a gentleman living here in Tokyo. He's Canadian actually. He's been living here way longer than I am. Nothing to do with woodblock printmaking. He was an engineer or something, I don't remember. but with a Japanese wife. They had a home in Tokyo and a home in Canada. And he's getting to the stage of life where he's got to, can't keep them both. So he's going to pack up here and go back to Canada. Long story short. Again, not a printmaker, nothing to do with that. But he and his wife had accumulated a bunch of different stuff, and they had on their bookshelves here in Tokyo a set of encyclopedias about woodblock prints, Japanese ukiyo-e. And this was published by the Kodansha company back in the bubble time, back in the 1980s. And it's one of the most magnificent publications on ukiyo-e that's ever been done. They went round the world to all the major museums that have collections of ukiyo-e, and there are a lot of those. The British Museum, the Victoria and Albert, the Guimet, the French National Library, whatever, you know where they are. They went round to each of these museums, got permission, and took fabulous photographs of those collections. And they published a set of 16 books. I think it was 11 volumes first, then up to 13, then they published 3 more, 16. I can't remember, it was step by step. But all in all, they were 16. And they sold them at the time for 32,000 yen each volume. 32,000 yen is, what is it? Back at the time, it was yen and dollar were way different. So it would have been about $400 per volume. That's less now because the American dollar is worth more, read the yen. And they sold really quite well. And now these books are here in Japan on bookshelves all over the country. And the original people who bought them in the 1980s have, of course, mostly passed away. Somebody who was 50 years old in the 1980s, they're moving on. So kids, whatever, people who inherit this stuff are cleaning up their homes. And in this particular case, this gentleman himself, he's 80-something, and he's cleaning up. He doesn't want these books. And he knows now also, too, that although they are valuable, in quotes, they are not liquid valuable. Nobody is going to pay $400 per volume for that set these days. Nobody. Anyway, long story short, he says, Dave, I got to get rid of these things. Can you find a good home for them? Do you want to buy them? Do you want them? What's going on? I myself already have the set, but I said, I think I know somebody out there who is really interested in this, and you can see where the rest of the story is going. Jacques has a wonderful collection of prints, ukiyo-e and Meiji era and everything else, and he also has a wonderful bookshelf. So long story short, these books are now going to be part of Jacques' bookshelf, if I can figure out how to get them over there. It's kind of like one of the few places in the world where these books could really be enjoyed and understood and used for what they are. Honestly speaking, although a shelf of encyclopedias like that's a glorious thing, for most people, even for me who's a professional, they sit there on the shelf and really don't get used. Jacques, on the other hand, is a #1 prime researcher with a super collection. Those things are going to get used like crazy. So this set of books that's been just sleeping there, not being used, is about to, you can see the books are thinking, yes. Anyway, Jacques-san, sit tight for a bit because this week I am busy, but we will get them wrapped up. They're all in Japanese, yes. The titles and names of each print are also in English, but there's no English text, no. Which I think was a massive mistake when they published it, my God. No, these are a time when I'm not busy. I mean, right now we are really busy. I know there's stuff I can tell you and stuff I can't. You do know already, we have at the moment 2 members in hospital, both for major reasons. And one, we know about this. Aoyama-san has major problem. He had reattachment surgery. The nerves were reattached, surgery 2 days ago. He'll be in the hospital for quite some time. major issue, the damage issue. And one of our shop staff had a problem with hot liquid at home, and she is seeing burn specialists, and they're talking skin grafts. That's also a big deal. So we have these two people who are needing care, needing attention, needing our help. And on top of that, we had two COVID cases last week among the staff, not here in Asakusa, but whatever. It's just been one thing on top of another. And the spring rush has begun. It began yesterday. And we can tab this to the day. February and January were really busy for us. Then the last few days in February, it went quiet. Like maybe one customer per day, 5,000 yen sale. Oh my God, it's over, we're bankrupt, we're done. And I think the first 2 days of March, the first 3 days of March were like this. They were really quiet, and we were thinking, what's going on? Has somebody painted a closed sign outside our building or whatever? We're looking around. And then, what was it? It was yesterday, absolutely yesterday. Boom. We had times when people almost couldn't get in the shop yesterday because they were so busy. I came downstairs. I had to stay downstairs. It's interview, it's talking, it's cameras, it's stuff. The cash register was just smoking. Spring has begun. And luckily, well, not luckily, good planning, it's how we run our business. For the past couple of months, during January, February, the motto here has been, pack 'em and stack 'em. We've been making as many prints as we can. We've been buying as many prints as we can. We've been importing from all of our suppliers as many prints as we can. The back room is just stacked with prints. And the staff's been saying, Dave, what are you doing? With too many prints. And I said, it's not too many prints. Pack 'em and stack 'em. So and we're not ready, but whatever, we're as ready as we can be. And this weekend now, it's beautiful, gorgeous weather. The cherry tree outside Mokuhankan is in full bloom. It is getting thousands of pictures every day. People are pushing and jostling each other to get a picture underneath that tree outside. The one I put on Instagram about a week or so ago. That tree usually blossoms feebly, and it sometimes blossoms only for a few days and then they collapse. This year, it is a magnificent little tree. It's blossomed fully. Even the half-dead branches on the left have now opened up. It's in the sunshine all morning. And I have no idea. There are thousands and thousands of photographs being taken. It must be on every Instagram channel in the country. You need a picture. Well, I put a small picture in the Instagram the other day. And yes, should I go out there and take another one this morning if I can get a chance to? Yes. Although if you probably Google it, it's probably got its own hashtag. It's a cherry tree. It's on Rokdori here in Asakusa. So maybe if you just Google it, it's probably out there. Everybody who walks down this street stops and takes pictures. There's crowds under it all day long the last few days. It's a little dinky tree. The other half, I can't say it's recovered, but the other half has staggered back to life, yes. So I'm saying all these camera angles, is it difficult creating this kind of format? I know it's easy in the software. The software I'm using, the broadcast software, is called OBS. What's it stand for? OBS, something broadcast software? Open, I don't know. Anyway, OBS is the software. And you can set whatever you want. You know, I've got 1 camera, 2 cameras, 3 cameras plugged into it. You just tell it what you want to do. I know the camera things and stuff, yeah, whatever, you know, you can move them around and do whatever you want with the same once you've got the sources into your system. Open broadcast software, okay, yeah. So this is no special skill of mine. I'm using the software, we're plugging in a bunch of different cameras. I don't know how many it will take. We've had 4, we've had 5 max, I can't remember. That's probably up to your computer more than up to the software. And OBS understands Twitch. You tell it your Twitch login and your special password and authentication information, whatever, and click a button and it says start streaming. So this is no special skill set of mine here. And you can set different scenes. Like it's sort of almost editing software. You can change and click and change to a different scene and have different setups ready all at the same time with different cameras in different places, and you can click back and forth between them. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful little software. You know, I would have happily paid for it. Okay, that's our 33. We've come halfway. It's 8:30. We are up and running. We are going to have a show tell. Yeah, the input boxes you're talking about, that's a way of getting video into the computer. I do have to connect the camera to the computer. And I have 2 video, I think in common parlance they say video cards. They're not cards these days, they're actual little transcoder boxes. Let's get this down. Where am I? So we're halfway. We flipped the stack over. I'm not sure how much of that was visible. I'm sorry. I should have maybe widened the camera. We flipped the stack over, and now we're doing the back side. This is sheet number 1. You can see the green tape that was on there at the beginning. We're now going to do the same 33 sheets. Pretty much the same thing. Maybe a little bit less fluid because the paper is a bit more wet now than before. This is thick paper though, so not much has come through to the back. That feels dry. And here we go with the back side. So 33 more sheets. And for those of you who haven't seen this before, we then move to the next room where we hang them up. How's the glue level? We're looking okay. I think I shouldn't have even mentioned it because I think we're okay. Switching to this shorter brush did really help. Oh, too much, too much, too much. It's pooling there. Don't put too much. Knock off a bit more. A little bit less fluid in. But not dropping too much there means now we're likely to get too little here, so I've got to be careful. The glue, it really doesn't smell, you know. At the moment, I'm not specifically smelling anything. Now, I'm used to it, so I wouldn't notice, but it really doesn't. It's 90% hot water smell. And it might smell a bit like some kind of funny tea, you know, people that drink jasmine teas or silly stuff like that. It smells a bit like that, flavored hot water. There's no bad, you know, awful, hold my nose glue smell or something. Not at all. It's really light. We're putting pieces of paper here. They're not sticking to each other. That's how light the glue is. I mean, there's people, John, I think, here in one of the mods. He's been here, standing here while I do this. He's been in this room. I don't think he even would have noticed the smell. No, any tea will be more. Earl Grey tea, if this was a tub of Earl Grey tea, it would be a much stronger smell than this is. Do we have a showroom? We have a shop. I'm in the shop at the moment. Down on the first floor is the shop open to the public. It's just a little store shop. We have tons and tons of prints on display. The workshop itself, where our people work, where the printers print, that's not open to the public. But the retail shop is, of course, here in Asakusa. Also, too, we have a heads up on, I think she's not here today. Karen is off today, one of the mods, but she is coming over here. There's a international Mokuhankan conference happening in Japan in, I think it's the second week of April or the first week of April. And Karen is coming over for that. So she's going to stop by and she will be here on the stream at least one day when she's here, late this month or early next month. The conference has nothing to do with me at all. It's not a Mokuhankan conference. It's a Mokuhanga conference. I think it's called the IMC, International Mokuhankan Conference. Somebody must have a link for it. And it's a gathering of sort of academic type printmakers. And they do it every 3 years or every 4 years. And don't quote me. I don't remember. I'm sorry. 3 years. If I was going to guess, I'd say they do it every 3 years. And this year it's in Fukui Prefecture, and the highlight of the conference is paper making. Someone's got a link. Thank you, John. And Karen is coming over for that. I don't know if she's presenting or attending or what. I don't know. And the few days before that conference starts, of course, we will have tons of interesting visitors in the shop. You know, people coming to say hi. You know. Oh, yeah. Thanks for the reminder, Tom. Monday. Today's Saturday. There's no stream 2 days from now, next Monday. None. No stream. Cancelled. Next stream will be Thursday next week. Thursday next week. No stream on Monday because I'm going to be in hospital. Nothing bad. I'm going in for a voluntary checkup. I'll be in the hospital for 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, and they are going to poke me and prod me and scan me and shoot me and whatever, all the stuff that they do. I am not going to have any fun the first day. But it's time. I'm 72. It's been years and years and years since I've had a good check. So I'm going in Monday morning. So there'll be no stream Monday. Normal stream Thursday. I'll put a note on the front of the channel. I've already, 2 samples are in the freezer here. I've been following their instructions and collecting samples for the past few days. And that's as much as we need to say about that. Oh, is there time? Daylight savings time? This I know nothing about. I'm sorry. I can't advise you on that. Japan doesn't have a time change. So if you do have a time change, these streams will seem to appear at a different time. It's not me that's changing. It's you. But somebody says it changes Saturday night, but I guess, is it state by state, country by country? It's not all over the world. I really don't know. As I said, please check your local whatever. The point being, we're not changing, so adjust it whichever way. Hey, we are cooking. Look at this, 8:40. Excuse me. Looking good. Someone's mentioning allergies there. It's funny, you know. I know there's been a bit of a change for me this year on the hay fever thing. I know when I first came to Japan and I lived out in West Tokyo, the hay fever thing was unbearable. I know every year, whatever, late February, March, April, whatever, the cedar pollen comes up, and it devastated me for weeks and weeks and weeks. I could carve and there's just liquid just rolling out of my nose. It was awful those years. This is the 1980s, 1990s. Bit by bit, without me really thinking about it or knowing about it, and I don't take any medications for this and never did, but bit by bit it seemed that it didn't bother me so much. And then moving here to downtown Tokyo, rather than living out there among all the trees, it decreased even more. And the last few years, I really haven't been bothered by it. People around me here, Ayama-san gets it strongly. Other people have been having it, bang, bang. And I've been thinking, I'm past that now. You know, as older you get, your immune system, I guess, gets a bit weaker and weaker. And we don't really see, for the most part, we don't see many elderly people being troubled by hay fever. It's, a young person's problem. But the other day, whatever, I went outside. What did I do? I went out to walk by the river for a while, came back, and for the next couple of hours, boom, 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 boom. So I had very mixed feelings about this. It was troublesome, box of tissues and all that stuff, and here we go again. But on the bright side, I'm thinking, hey, I'm not dead yet. This is still okay. I'm not one of those old people who this thing doesn't affect, so. This year, so far, not so bad, but it is, if I go outside and walk around and come back in, for the next hour or so, I am dripping and itchy eyes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not dead yet. Oh, something else too. I don't know. So somebody just said something there. What's the worst job in printmaking or something? And that reminded me, we did a block repair the other day. I did a block repair, and it took a couple of different streams. I partly finished it on one stream and then finished it up on the next stream. I got an email, a polite email about this, not critical, but politely critical comment. And they thought that when I finished that repair the other day, after I'd finished it, they thought what was the expression the person used? They weren't happy that I just tossed it aside and didn't show carefully the result. One sec. Okay. Cavalier. They thought I was very cavalier with that. I did it, showed how special, blah, blah, I'm so good at doing this, and tossed it aside and didn't give people a chance to see the result. So, okay, whatever. I wrote back and said, okay, sorry, I thought it was just not important. I put it aside because it was finished, and away we went. But they asked, can I please show the results? So I can't do it today because we're up here. But if you remind me, I left the block by my carving bench. On Monday we won't be here, but Thursday we'll be downstairs again. So if you jog me on it, I'll pull up the block and show more carefully the result of that thing. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was whatever a problem. It's difficult for me to understand how people perceive what we're doing here sometimes, But I didn't really test print. I didn't have any pigment. I didn't have a brush ready, So I think what we'll do, whatever, I'll just be ready. We'll do an actual real test print and we'll look at the block. So I apologize if I was, just whatever. I guess the thing is it was a lead up to something and then I didn't show the payoff, I guess. And as I said, it's difficult for me to understand how people are seeing these things sometimes. But I guess what I had done was leading up, and then didn't show the end, So whatever, no problem. It was not a hostile mail at all. Very, very friendly. But how's our time? We're okay. We are okay. I guess block repairs, I don't really think about it too much, but I guess that's one of the things that is sort of super interesting for people. When you think about it, that's one of the biggest questions we get here. Like on a sizing stream, we get the question, what is he doing? But on our normal streams, if I'm carving downstairs, that's got to be the number one question. Oh my God, what happens when things goes wrong? Can you repair it? Can you do it? And I didn't really think about this too much, but I guess that is one of the main things that's sort of interesting. What happens when things go wrong, So anyway. How many layers of paper typically go on? We're doing 33 sheets today here. There's 33 pieces of paper in this stack. For a professional sizer, someone who does this job as a profession, we're not using a professional, we do it ourselves. In the old days, I used to order washi paper, 500 sheets or whatever, 400 sheets, 500 sheets at a time from the papermaker. The papermaker sent it on my behalf to a professional sizer. He called me up, what do you want? I discussed what I wanted, the sizer did it and sent it to me. So that professional sizer would do a stack of 500 sheets, bang, 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 bang. Now we ourselves, we don't do it that way for a couple of reasons. One is I don't have that kind of stamina or tool set or ability to hang up 500 sheets at the same time. But also what we do now is we do the sizing job by job. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, there's 2 jobs here, one for Kawai-san and one for Kubota-san. And looking at the weather, looking at the temperature, looking at the print they're going to make, I will vary the mix in the bowl here. So rather than send it out to a professional to do 500 sheets all at once, we do it group by group. And we don't really have any choice. I don't have a big enough room with a million clothes pegs. The room he's got, the guy's name was Misawa-san. My God, it's a huge room, and it's a forest of cords and cables and pulleys to lift up the strings. And he can hang up 500 pieces of paper all at one time. What kid grows up dreaming of being a professional sizer? I get the answer there is nobody. And the only way people will become a sizer if their dad did it, and he says, get started. Dad, no, get started. Dad, no, anything but that. Get that brush. I don't know. You're talking about the free design again. I heard them again last week. That company, Sukiya, is still playing that stuff. It wasn't Kites Are Fun they played last week, but it was the same thing. The same group. They're probably all dead by now. Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to be a sizer. I mean, talk about an inglorious job, no thanks job, you know. It's difficult. Your customers will not say anything when it's properly done. They will complain bitterly when it's not done well. There's no way. I mean, it's an inglorious job. The way we're doing it now is the best way. I'm doing it for these outside printers, but our in-house printers do it themselves. It's part of their job of making a print. Here is the last sheet. It's 8:53. This has got to be a new world's record for us. Now, I don't have any help to carry this stuff next door. I'm going to cover up the glue. There's no time to wash my brush, so I'm going to temporarily, I'm just going to put the brush for the moment inside a plastic bag. And I will wash it after I finish hanging up all the paper and the streams over. I'll come back here and wash this. Okay, here we go. The move to the next room. The mods can explain what's going on. We are going to lose the side camera here. That was easy. I'm going to first move the electric power. One sec. Nothing will change there. Okay, power is ready and waiting for the computer. I will now move the main camera. Now to do that, I have to unplug it, move it through there first, and we'll move the computer next. So again, no panic here, please. The audio is going to stay live. The main camera is going to come down for a minute. Here it goes. And here it goes. This is the camera that was pointing down onto the test bed there. Back in a sec. Zoom it out, get it ready. Where's the output cable? That's ready to be plugged into the computer. Okay, I think we are now ready for the next step. The last step now is to move the computer itself. It's got an audio plugged in with my mic. It's got the Ethernet cable. We are wired. We're not on Wi-Fi here today. Let's go. Maybe what I can do, just temporarily, I've never done this before. Let's do this. Let's enlarge this camera temporarily so you can see where I'm going. This is our back room here. That's our kitchen where we make the size. That's the table at which we've just been working. Behind me is the stairs up to the roof. There is our unused for years now. We have some backup stock of kozo fiber for making paper. May get used one day, may not get used one day. We don't know. We bought it a few years ago when there was a real run on kozo. We weren't sure if our paper maker would have good supply, and we had access to some, so we bought a bunch in case he needed it. He never did, but whatever. There is the stack of Jacques' encyclopedias. 16 heavy encyclopedias. What else do we have here? Wood blocks, pieces of wood that are going to become wood blocks. This is our second printer's room. There's 2 printing stations which are not being used right now. We don't have printers. Moving forward, this is where we're going to hang the paper. The other side of me, that is our printer's room. My cable is not long enough to reach in there, so that's something we can't see today. Let's get this ready. You can see the mic is there. Let's put the main camera back in. I'll have to move that down a bit, I think. I'm not sure. Does that stay there maybe? Maybe it stays there. Okay, chat. I have to look at the chat and increase the size of the font on the chat. Chat appearance. Font size max. There we go. If you want me to see it, as John says, use capital letters, otherwise I won't see it. Let me now go and get the printing paper. Show and tell. Okay, is this a good place to do this? Here's the paper. Let's adjust the camera a little bit. Now we've got the clips with 3 clips, and normally I have a little jig, but today the paper is narrow and we're only going to be using 2 of the clips here. Here we go, let's get started. We have 33 sheets, which is going to cause me one small problem because we want to hang them up 2 by 2 back to back. So there's going to be one left over. Here we go. Up they go. Yoisho. So 33 sheets, there's going to be 16 and 1/2 hangings. Keep counting if you like. I'm not quite sure if I can see the chat here, so. What's this question? Akira Toriyama, have you met him? I don't know. Are we talking about a printmaker, a designer? I don't recognize the name. I'm sorry. If it's somebody I should know but don't, I apologize. I don't remember. Speaking about remembering too, you know, we had among the many guests yesterday, there was a gentleman. He said, "Hi Dave, nice to see you again." And, you know, I had no clue who this was. Absolutely no clue. And it was clear on my face. There was no faking this. I did not have the slightest clue who this person was. And whatever, he remembered me. He wasn't upset or anything because, as it turned out, it's a long, long time ago. It was the late 1990s when he visited. And it turned out, though, that he came to my home out in West Tokyo. And he says, "You took me to lunch." And I'm like, I believe this, but I'm sorry, I don't remember it. And yeah, it was 27 years ago. So, whatever. There's things that are going to be possible, and there's things that are just not going to be possible. Meeting somebody for one day, having lunch with them. I forget what I said to him. I said, "Well, maybe if you had been really, you know, a stunningly beautiful lady, I might remember something." There's people that come in. There was another couple yesterday. I was in the shop. They came in the morning. They got a couple of prints. I didn't actually speak to them. And then they left. And it turned out what they had done, and I hadn't known this, what they had done was they had wanted to do more sightseeing around Asakusa. So after picking up their prints, after buying their prints, they had asked the staff, "Can we leave the package here, you know, come and pick it up later this afternoon?" And the staff says, "Sure." They've got a box for that. This happens all the time. So, okay, whatever. So Dave is there later in the afternoon. It's busy, busy, busy. The door opens and a couple comes in. And it's sort of a, what's the word? Not deja vu, but whatever, like, you know. And I said, "Hello, come in, you know, blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "Dave, we spoke to you this morning already." Like, I didn't remember. All I could say was, "You know, I had this vague sense that I know you from somewhere, but I couldn't remember where." And they're like, "Yeah, it was this morning at 10:30. So those are the two extremes. A person I met 27 years ago and a person I met 27 minutes ago. And I couldn't remember either of them. Someone says, "What's that on my left sleeve?" You mean the dirt? I probably actually, because I was dipping my arm, you know, I dipped my arm and I probably touched the edge of the tank. I don't think it's you. Well, I'll put it in the laundry, don't worry. Yeah, we're safe talking about laundry here, but in that last stream, I don't know, my laundry was up there in the background behind me, I think. What number are we on? Well, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pairs are hung up. And there are going to be 16 and a half pairs hanging all together, right? Because there's 33 sheets here. What's the time? It's 9:06. We're okay, we're okay, we're okay. This is going to work, I think, very well today. You say 1962. I don't think it's that old, actually. In fact, this is a new one. Sadako bought for me just a while ago. And it has been washed. Let's just hang up one sheet by itself. I told you there's 33 pieces of paper here. We're doing them 2 by 2. If I do them 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and end with just one at the end, that one at the end, all open and exposed, will dry too quickly. So the single sheet that we unavoidably have to hang here, I'm going to put that in the middle of the deck. Otherwise it will dry a little bit too fast and it'll get crinkled, wrinkled. And now we go back to our 2 by 2. Why didn't I get even numbered sheets? Well, we needed a specific number for the specific printing jobs we're doing. And it was 11 sheets of takenaga I needed in order to make the right number of prints that we were targeting. And cutting 11 sheets, if I'd cut them in half, it would have been okay. We would have had 22 pairs to hang up. But because I cut them in thirds, we ended up with 33. I mean, this is trivial. It's not a big problem here. Just simply one of these sheets is hung up by itself. The benefits from having these narrow strips, from doing it in 1/3, far outweighs that negative. If it had been critical, then I would have used 10 sheets or 12 sheets. Cutting 10 in thirds would have given me 30. Cutting 12 would have given me 36. No big deal. Not an important point at all. And here's the last pair. I'm very, very happy about the timing today. What is it? It's 9:10. We're early. I can do both. I can show you those encyclopedias quickly, and then we can have our normal show and tell. This is working so well. There is our job. Up they go. Now this is not a completely sealed little room. It's just, not sealed, but it's, let's have a look. It's one corner of the room here now. We just got it in plastic. It's open at the top and it's open at the bottom. And as soon as I'm finished with you guys, I am going to turn on that little humidifier. I can't do it now because it needs the same plug that the camera is plugged into. So once the camera's unplugged, I'll put the humidifier on and it will shoot steam, or whatever it is that humidifiers shoot, up into the little tent there. Okay, now how are we going to do this? I need this table space. This is sticky, it gets cleaned up later. Let's do this. Let's get one of these books. Which one? Which one? Which one? Oh, here. Okay, let's just grab one of these things. Book first, and then our other show and tell. Here we go. This is the set of encyclopedias, the Kodansha. What's it? Hiso Ukio Taikan. The grand, magnificent. They've never been opened. These people have had them, never been opened. Look at this. Oh my God. Literally never been opened. You saw the main big box and a smaller box, and then finally the book inside. Oof. I mean, my God, what did this cost? You know, this is hard shell. It's embossed patterns on the front, gold leaf. You know, it went on and on and on. And what was the price? The price was on the front one. What was it? Yeah. 32,000 yen. And this is back in 1986 or 1987. And that would be literally about $400. Okay, the special thing about these though, the absolute special thing about these is, as I said, it's the photography. Look at this. It hasn't been cracked. Jacques, I'm sorry, we're opening one here. What can I get to? This is the Victoria and Albert Museum Part 1. The whole thing, Japanese. Here, listen, let me try and cut to the chase. Japanese text, color plates. Okay, these are scrolls. Let me find a picture of a print here that will just show you in one single thing what I am trying to describe. Look, okay, here we go. This is how they've done the photography. Let me just put the book here. Get the camera. Do you see what I'm getting at? They have done these things in a proper light. Most photography for this kind of thing, these encyclopedias or whatever, they shoot the thing to erase the paper. And this book is different. They have shot this thing in a way that you can see the texture of the paper. Of course, when there's embossing and stuff, it comes up magnificently. But even just the normal parts, you can see the texture of all the paper. It's absolutely incredible. So frequently, they send these collections out, they call in professional photographers, they get a thing where they put the print flat, they shoot light from the top and bottom, they try and erase the paper texture because they want to see the picture and not the paper. And for us, we want to see the paper. And this whole encyclopedia, somebody up top, one of the managers or designers or instigators understood this and told the photographers what they needed to do. And not every one of them, there's a few prints in here that are shot in a bit of a flat way, but overwhelmingly, most of them are done properly. And of course, the color balance is perfect, the printing is perfect. Just, you can see the sheet. There's even wrinkles. You know, you can see the crinkliness of the sheet. They didn't try and hide that. And we're doing the same thing with our own collection. It was seeing this book that first turned me on to the idea that you can do this. You can do good photography of Japanese woodblock prints. That's why our own collection, someone's going to link to it, I think. That's why our own collection is done this way. And there's 16 volumes of this thing. The other thing that makes this wonderful, 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 let me try and find some examples. It's not just prints. For example, in the Victoria and Albert Museum, they have a bunch of hanshita. Hanshita meaning, tracings ready for making woodblock prints. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? They'll be in the black and white section. There's a color section here and a black and white section. Just a sec. Page after page after page after page. Where are they? Here we are. These are hanshita, tracings for becoming woodblock prints that never became woodblock prints. You know, the deal we're doing this year with the British Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum has dozens and dozens and dozens of these. And they've reproduced these here in beautiful high resolution. If I had nothing else to do, boom, we could make woodblock prints from these. So all in all, this encyclopedia set is a magnificent, magnificent resource. They're available here in Japan quite cheaply down in the used book district, cheaply compared to what they were back in the old days. But the problem, of course, is weight. They are over 5 kilograms each. So to ship them is a big, big, big problem. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to today's real show and tell. We've got time, right? It's 9:18. Is Jacques still here? Jacques probably gone to bed, Michelle. I think Jacques probably gone to bed. He's in Holland. It must be like 2 o'clock in the morning now. So I think Jacques down. Okay, anyway, let's get to the show and tell. The one I said, I missed the auction once, missed the auction twice, picked it up the third time. And we have a very, very, very nice little item here. It's a book. It's published sometime in the Meiji era. We'll get a date on it in a minute. And it's Ukio, not Techo. You know, I can't read this one. I was going to say Taikon. It's an encyclopedia of ukiyo-e. Zen means the full thing in one volume. But I can't read that character. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's a survey, an overview of ukiyo-e. And what this publisher has done. Well, let me get into it first. It's an accordion book. So I've got to be careful here because the whole thing, there's no spine, there's nothing holding it all together. And if I'm not careful, this will fall apart. This is quite old. Let's see if there's a date. On the back page, there might be a date already. There is. Okay, here we go. The date is Meiji 33. Meiji 33. That'll put it at 1903, somewhere around there. Meiji 33, 1900. I'm off by 3 years. Thank you. John's got it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, here we go. Let me find the space to display this. What it is, we see first a list of names of ukiyo-e designers. And what the book is, some people back in the Meiji era, they are trying to show a history of ukiyo-e, or a history of the way faces and hair and things were done. Let me try and see if I can stand this up here. One sec. Okay, let's get it stood up and let's get the camera on it. It is a history of ukiyo-e done. Let's see, have we got that? Is it focused? Okay, bingo, bingo, bingo. 100 and whatever it is years old, we have Tosa Matabe Shitsu. Shitsu is brush. And we're going to see as we go through page by page here, from the earliest days of ukiyo-e up until whenever this book finishes, they're giving us a survey of drawing styles based on face and hair. And it'll show us also, it'll be a survey of hairstyles across the 300 years. Now, Tosa Matabe, I know this is a sort of a mythical figure. The people who do research about ukiyo-e history used to say, this is the guy that started it all. More modern research doesn't pin him or his school as being the origin, but that's not in my field. We're just going to go through here, earliest ukiyo-e types to modern. And I got to mention one thing right up top. The coloring, the colorization you're going to see here is totally inaccurate. The colorization here is all done with the same palette. You'll see as we go through the same red, the same orange, the same purple. So don't think of the coloring here as being historically accurate. We're talking about drawing style, face style, and hairstyle, because this is concentrating on faces. The registration is not perfect. These are not masterpieces. And the book, I guess, would have been a book for perhaps casual use, people who are generally interested in getting an overview of the ukiyo-e school. And some of these I can read, and some of these I can't read. We'll catch the ones as we go. This is very early stuff. I would have guessed this was Moronobu if I had said nothing. It doesn't seem to say Moronobu, and I don't know this. This is Hishikawa. No, I'm sorry, there's too many that I can't read here. These are not well-known names. This would have been early days in research to old ukiyo-e. That's like a Moronobu shunga. Okumura Masanobu. This is a well-known name. Let's zoom in a bit on some of these. This was the book. It was originally, I think it was 20,000 yen in the auction. He dropped it to 18,000. I guess he dropped it a couple. By the time I got it, it was 12,000 yen. Nobody else had been interested. We have Nishikawa Tsukinobu, big names here. This is Kiyonobu. And this is now the Tori school. These are actor prints. The next group will be all Tori Kiyo. Oh, I don't remember this one. This is Tori Kiyonobu. I'm supposed to know this. Tori Kiyomasa, maybe? Don't quote me. And we're now in the era of actor prints. And the colorization is awful. Please, please, please. Maybe this is why nobody else bid on this book. Because the color balances and the colorizations are just, I don't know, give me a break. What's the question here? Okay, this is not string bound at all. That's without the copy of the prints you see here. What you're seeing here was one woodblock print. This was a set of blocks. They printed the thing you see here, and it was then folded inside. And then if you imagine the next one also being folded inside, and the two sheets were glued together just at the edge here. You can see the glue line here, where these two sheets were glued together. On string-bound books, it's the other way around. After each sheet was finished, they were folded backwards. So this page and this page were on different sheets of paper. But albums like this, the prints, as what you see, are how they were made and then glued together later. They are folded this way. These albums are much, much weaker because the fold in the middle of that sheet, that's the binding. And if I'm not careful here, that's just going to come apart straight away. These are delicate books. We're still going through the Tori school. Tori Kiyonaga, Tori Kiyomasa. Don't quote me. Kitao Masanobu. And look at the registration. These have not been done very carefully. This is a bit of a junk production, you know. These are not glorious woodblock prints. The book is interesting for what it is. But this is not your glorious, oh my God, write home, you know. Look at this. Look at the registration. But it's interesting. I'm very happy to have got it. If nothing else, it'll teach me to study some of these names. Oh, here we are. This one's coming apart. I gotta be careful. Look, 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 look. This one is coming apart. Take it easy, Dave. Miyagawa Choshun. Suzuki Harunobu. They're not actually all in chronological order. We've been skipping around. Harunobu actually came before Kiyonaga. So I think they've put these in groups. They've put the family groups there. The Tori group all came together, and now these are different. Someone's saying, was that misregistration deliberate? I don't think so. I think it's just careless production, you know. And actually, that's not misregistration. That's careless carving. I don't think that would have been, you know, intentional. Your guess is as good as mine, but. And again, as I said, the same colors are just coming back and forth through the whole book. This is Sharaku. And I forget the name of the young sumo wrestler. There was a very famous sumo wrestler, early 1790s, very, very short guy, almost a child. And he was, that's his face, but I don't remember his name. It'll be in here somewhere, but to try and find his name. Oh, something Yama. No, I don't remember, I'm sorry. Now we're really jumping back and forth in time. This is Toyonobu, Ishikawa Toyonobu, and this is Utamaro. It's okay. It's too hard. Look at this. This is not the A team. Absolutely, neither carving or printing. This is not our A team at all. It's journeyman work. Whatever, if they wanted to publish a book and keep it cheap, there's a lot of pages, a lot of color pages. You know, production costs here would not have been cheap. The other day we were talking about our great waves on stream, how we don't sell them if there's even a little dot or something on one of the prints. How about this? Who cares? Someone will buy it. They won't care. And I guess they didn't, you know. The red does get tiring. That grotesque red. We could not put this book in warm water to take it off. And as all with exams, you get to the end, and you're not at the end, you're only halfway through, because now we see the back sides. Oops, page 1 too far. So we've seen half of the book, we've now flipped it over, and we're coming back to the beginning the same way. No, the red here is I think it's made from an aniline dye. This is not a mercury color. This is not, somebody's mentioning cinnabar. This is not shoe. This, I believe, is made with aniline dyes. And if we put moisture on this page, that red would blur like crazy. If we tried to soak these sheets off the album and put it in warm water, the water would turn red in no short order. There's no chronological order. These are all mixed up. This is Eizan. He should have been back with the tomato. Not quite sure what they're... Oh, here we are. Look at this. We know who this is. Can you tell just from the drawing style? It's actually a mix, I think, of different styles. This is Hokusai. I was wondering when we were going to get to this. I know there's other names we haven't seen yet. Hiroshige. Hiroshige wasn't known for his beauties, and this album seems to be focusing on women, women's faces, and women's hairstyles. We might get a Hiroshige, I don't know. I think this is a pastiche. I think they've mixed up 4 different Hokusai images here and just jammed them together. There's no way I think that would have been an original picture like this. This is pasted together from different originals. The writing looks legible. I'm not going to sit here. I can only pick and choose. This is Katsushika Hokusai wa Katsukawa Shunsho. They're talking about Hokusai came from Shunsho's atelier, to where he worked first. So I can struggle through some of this, but I can't sit here and easily read it to you. But this looks actually quite readable. Again, we've gone back in time. We're really jumping back and forth in time. Some of these now, these are Hokusai's apprentices. This is Hokkei, this one. Or is that Hokkei? Does that mean this picture or this picture? I'm not quite sure. One of the apprentices of Hokusai. And the registration here is god-awful. Ow. Oh well. Takes away a lot of the pleasure of the book. Who is this? I can't read this one. I'm sorry. Asadyu Janai. I can't read the writing of this one. I'm sorry. Oh, look at this. What a god-awful mess that face is. Whatever. The book itself is very interesting. The quality of the work is not masterwork. But the book itself and the collection is an interesting idea. This is Eizan. It'll go into our collection page. We'll get it scanned and put up. Now we're now nearly contemporary for these people. This is Toyo Kuni, who would have been contemporaneous. When did he live and die? Just before this book was published. So we're now, for the people who put this book out, these are now modern pictures. We've arrived at the contemporary era for these people. Kuniyasu. There we go, that's it. And then we're back to our, we're back to our colophon page, Meiji 33. Okay, what did I say at the beginning? Perhaps I oversold it a bit. What did I say? It's going to blow your socks off? I don't know. It is an interesting book, you know. Is and was an interesting book. I'm happy to have got it, even though the auction gods tried to make it so I couldn't get it. Okay, thanks very much, gang. I got this light behind me. Sorry about this. We are going to sign off here now. Reminder, please, the next scheduled stream next Monday will not happen. I'm checking into hospital for 2 days for no special reason. I'm not worried about anything, but it's time for a good full body test. Camera in the top, camera in the bottom, camera everywhere. 2 days actually for relaxing and getting a good checkup. I'll be back in the saddle next Thursday for me, Wednesday night for most of you guys. Good. I've had a good productive stream this morning. We got all our work done. We looked at a couple of interesting things. We are up and running. Thank you very much, and I'll see you, 5 days from now? Yeah, on Thursday morning. Thank you very much, and for me, I got to get cleaned up now and downstairs because it's going to be a crazy, crazy day. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye for now. 3, 2, 1.